Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? And welcome to another conversation. I'm excited about tonight's topic.
Mm-hmm.
This came to me over the weekend. Actually, was thinking about long distance relationships, and I know a couple people who have been successful at it, and some people who are like, heck to the no, no, no. So people have different feelings about long distance relationships, and I thought this would be a great conversation for us to really dig into, because it can go either way. It can work in
Oh
your
yeah.
favor, or it can be one of them like, nah, this ain't it, chief. So we're gonna get into it tonight because I want to hear definitely from the fellas' perspective about long distance relationships, and at the end of the day, what does it take to go the distance in a long distance relationship? And I think it just depends on the individual people. I can tell you that I got a comment on Facebook. I need to pull it up, and
Okay.
they were like, it can work. But the two people involved have to be willing to do the work. And the person was like, they're doing great and they're 9 years strong.
Wow.
Not
Like long
married
distance.
and 9 years strong. It started off. I got to get to the comment because I got to read it the way that it says. It can be because I saw that picture. When I saw this picture about love is stronger than distance, I was just like, is it? Maybe it could be. And the person's comment was, it can be, but only if both parties are willing to put in the work and time to maintain the relationship. This person did it with their spouse for almost 2 years. And it
Wow.
was definitely tough, but they knew that they were supposed to be together and made it work. And they're 9 years together now. But I think it depends on, again, what this person said. The two people involved, it's work. You got to be willing to put in the work and the time. And how many people would be willing to put in the work and the time in a long distance relationship, let alone two? They did 2 years.
Mm.
Some people can't go 2 months.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So what do y'all think about it?
Well, first, have you ever been in a long distance relationship yourself?
I was, yeah,
How did it
back in my
how was it? How
twenties.
long? Huh?
Back in my 20s, but it was, it's work. I didn't have the maturity that I do now because I'm very touchy feely, and
Okay.
that just didn't work for me. That was the hard part for me. He
Right.
was in the military, and
Mm.
so his base was like 4 hours away. That wasn't
Mm.
the hard part because back and forth traffic. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was just not being able to be in his space. I didn't like that. Like I said, I'm touchy feely. I need to be in his space. Like at that time, you know what I mean? So for me, I
Right.
wasn't at the place where I am now settled. So when you're younger, in your 20s, I was in my early 20s at that. That just won't gonna work for me. So after a
Now did
while,
y'all
it's
did
just
y'all
and
meet
then
in
his job, because you're talking about somebody who's away. So
did
not
you
just your base is away, but you on duty, TDY, a lot. So that was a lot, and it takes a certain kind of person that can deal with not only a long distance relationship, but a long distance relationship with somebody who's in the military.
question?
That's a
Did you
whole
meet
nother level.
so did you meet him like on social media or
We
you
had
guys had
social
met in
media back,
person?
baby. Okay, you don't
Oh yeah,
know.
that's right.
We didn't
That's
have no
right.
social
That's
media
right.
back then.
That's,
This was somebody I knew in college. We had social media back then. I know you forget. It's okay. It's okay. Cash Money Records was doing it for the 99. This is back, way back. Okay.
Lord.
No, this is somebody from college. So
Okay.
this was college. So um, there wasn't like internet dating or anything like that. You depended on people that you knew. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
that's
right,
kind of
right.
that's kind of how that worked out. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it was tough. It was truly
so
it was tough.
I'm gonna be very. My views are probably on this are a little bit more direct. I I need to have. I need you here. Like it's hard enough to date somebody who lives in your city,
Right.
or even if they live with you. I don't want to say I have trust issues. I don't. But the amount of time, dedication, attention that I like, the amount of sex that I need every week. Everyone
That was
knows
me
my
back
sex.
then. It wasn't enough.
Yeah,
You
everybody knows
know.
my 7 to 12 times a week. I can't do that long distance, and I'm not going to hop on no train and plane every week or vice
Yeah.
versa. I'm not doing that. It's not that it's a problem, but I want you there. I need a companion. What am I going to do during the week? And FaceTiming or Skyping all the time. Now I understand if you're in the military, but I'm
Right.
probably not going to deal with you for you are in the military for that reason. But I respect that. Oh God. Um, but with that said, you know, I just want your presence felt, but we'll get more
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
That's just my
It
opening.
takes a special kind of person to digest a long distance relationship. It's not for everybody. It really isn't. And you have to know. Here go the thing: know thyself, and just be honest with yourself about it. You can really and you can care about the person. You can really, but it's like nah, something gonna have to give at some point. Um, Somebody's okay. So what were this is a question. Wait, Willie is asking what was the good factors that I enjoyed about the long distance relationship? Nothing. It really was. I really liked him. I really did. But I need like for me, what part of I'm touchy feely was not clear. That I
Whoa.
felt like the fact that I couldn't even be near or just kind of go over and hang out. I felt
Wow.
like that was suffocating to me. I
I
I
felt that one.
I couldn't deal with that. I genuinely couldn't deal with that. At the end of the day, I need to be able to be around you and going 3, 4, 5 months
Mhm.
at a time because you out on TDY duty and another duty station on top of that. So we got to drive 4 or 5 hours to see one way to see each other, and then we got to work around. You know what I'm saying? Military duty. That's hard. That's
Right, right,
hard.
right.
So there was nothing about it that I enjoyed. It wasn't enough. Me and the passion that I had that I really wanted to be with him. That wasn't enough to make it work. It just wasn't
Right.
enough. And I was just starting my career, and so I wasn't sacrificing it because it was very hard to get to where I was in management as a young Black woman coming out of college, dealing with people in my industry. So it's kind of like, no, I was very career driven back then. So it was about, I was trying to strike a balance. And his perspective was do not sacrifice because the market here isn't conducive for what you're doing in your career. And that just, you know what I mean? And that's what he was attracted to me about. So it don't work for everybody. Some people it's
It
okay.
doesn't.
If you're not touchy feely and if you like your space and different stuff, it'll work for you. It
See,
just did not work for
I'm
me.
touchy feely. I'm touchy feely as hell. You around me, I'm touchy feely. I'm not gonna lie. And you telling me don't touch your stuff, we're gonna have a problem. But
I
I
don't
get
care
it.
if you just got your leg across me. I need. That's just
See,
me.
y'all are part of the problem.
Don't you know what?
Y'all part of the problem. And then y'all wonder why people go find it from someone who will do it. Just saying. I hate to be that person to say that, but that's what happens.
Troy,
Hold
get
on.
in here, baby.
I said it.
Um,
I said it.
so how can I follow that? Yes, I've been in my first serious relationship was long distance. It was a young lady I was dating back home in Memphis. I met her. I met her at the beginning of my sophomore year in college when I was at home in the summertime, and we started a relationship. But then I came back to Atlanta for school. I was in a long distance relationship 3.5 out of the 4.5 years I was at Morehouse.
Wow.
Wouldn't do it again, but I mean that was we're talking about 1998 to 2001.
Right.
Back then, there was no Skype. There was no,
Mhm.
there were no smartphones. We had cell phones, but the cell phones were hella basic back then. But there was
Nokia flip, and that's it.
yeah,
Texting and
that
that's
was
it.
it. Back then in the late '90s, there was no look at a screen and see,
Yep.
at least not for college kids anyway.
Yeah, there
Um,
Right.
wasn't no camera phones and stuff.
So what
yeah,
did y'all do? Talk on the phone all the time?
when I
And
was in college,
pages.
I was buying phone cards all the time.
Mhm.
All the time buying phone cards. But then
But
also
and bus
going back and forth,
tickets.
huh?
And bus tickets.
Plane tickets. Because I was also going back and forth, coming back home to Memphis to see my family, you know, flying back home, get to the house. As soon as I get in the house, I eat a meal, and then 15 minutes later, I'm out the house going to see my girlfriend because I'm horny.
Right.
So yeah, for 3.5 years, I did that, and it is funny. It is kind of a coincidence that this is the topic today because the controversial topic in Ringside today about my friend who is married to a Jewish man. She's a young lady.
Listen.
She she's a young lady I met after my longest
Sorry,
relationship
y'all.
failed. I met her in Memphis. Lovely young lady, but I chose not to date her seriously because I was coming back to Atlanta. If I stayed in Memphis, I would have dated that young lady who was the topic of today's controversial post. We did. I mean, we dated for the summertime, but we didn't
Oh God.
progress into a full blown relationship.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Would I do that today? Would I be in a long distance relationship today? It really depends on why are we apart? Are we apart because someone's in school or temporarily in another city? Because I realize for some people, long distance relationships are perfect because you have a lot of people who want companionship in one relationship, but they also value their space.
Right.
We do have some people who are touchy feely, but trust me, there are a lot of people out there like, look, I like you, but I don't want you all under me all the
Right.
time. And so it really begs the question, like, what kind of person are you? Some people are more needy than others.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, gotta have sex 3-4 times a day. Other people, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
It just depends. So where I am now in my age, I mean, at 41, if my young lady was in a different city, if she was like in school or doing a residency, with all the technology, huh?
That question, I want to address that one
I'm gonna
right
get
there.
to it. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah,
it.
if we
I'm
were
gonna get to it. That's why
with
I
all
said
the
I'm gonna
technology
get
we
because
have,
these
I mean,
comments be
with
going fast.
FaceTime, we can see each other, and the fact we're making money now is like we can go back and forth. I would be okay with that because I got to be honest. As much as I love sex and I love to be around the person I'm with, I'm one of those people. I love my me time.
Yeah.
I love the time where I'm like, okay, it's just me. So I could do it now. Back then, my longest relationship, it failed. I'm in college. I'm 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I'm horny. I definitely want, some titties to grab on and some lips to kiss. And I couldn't go. It was like 3, sometimes 4 months before she and I would see each other.
Yeah,
So
I think it's important, Troy, in what you just said, is to strike a balance. If you can afford it, you know
yeah,
what I
you
mean,
afford it.
and you can afford to go back and forth or whatever, yeah, do it. You know what I mean? Because that means the distance is no longer an issue because you can strike that balance between your personal space. I'm touchy feely, but yeah, I'm like you. I mean, at this point in my life, I like my personal space as well. But I think that it does depend on your dynamics and where you are. Willie asked the question is when you were in your long distance relationship, was the relationship open at any point or was there any cheating on either side? I can personally say we didn't do no open relationships back then. There was no such thing about
No,
that.
Really?
It was, you have an
Wow.
understanding. We didn't have an issue with cheating or anything like that. It's okay, where are we going with it? I think that people automatically assume that because you're with somebody dating long distance that it's exclusive until you actually say that it's exclusive. To me, it's not cheating. That's me. I could be wrong, but if we don't say we're
Right.
exclusive and this is what it is, if you're seeing other people and I'm seeing other people while we're dating long distance, it's not cheating. It's not even an open relationship because you're not at that point. That's what dating is. You are
Right.
dating to see who you
someone's
want
a mess
to
with.
be in a relationship with.
I mean, it's not
the issue
cheating.
is so many people just want to jump into a relationship, but you don't really allow yourself to date other people to really see what the prospects are and narrow your options. But that's just me.
I mean, if it's, cheating involves a violation of an agreement. There has to be an agreement. There has to be something. Huh?
Well, the problem is sometimes things are not established. There's been times that I've seen people think they're dating someone and they're not, and then something happens.
I agree. If we haven't communicated, it's like you can't accuse me of cheating if you can't state what agreement did I violate.
Thank you.
What did I say I wasn't going to do that I did?
And that's my bread and butter right there, because I know from personal experience, and for some people watching, I'm not throwing shade at you, I promise. It's just sometimes there's been times that things have been assumed based off of actions we had or because of my kindness. They're not used to my kindness. Right. And when I have given certain attentions, it's assumed that there is a relationship or whatever. And this has happened even in college. This has happened when I was actually married. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And it's like, wait, if unless I say the words, we are in a relationship or we are together.
We are in a committed relationship.
But I'm not going to. But if there is distance, unless you are coming to see me all the time, I mean during the weekday. Right now we're in a pandemic, so you can work from home, so that could be doable. But yeah,
well,
don't read into
again.
Point blank.
Don't read into it. I'm very direct.
Never assume. In a relationship or anything and dating, never assume that the person you're with shares your exact philosophy on dating, because a lot of people feel like if I'm dating you and even without an agreement, I feel this is where we are. If you can't communicate that, then don't assume that they're on the exact same page with you, because they may not be. They may have a completely different mindset. For me, as far as fidelity and infidelity, I know when I was in college, I'll just say this. I mean, being in a long distance relationship, and we didn't, we would go 3 to 4 months before we saw each other. Trust me, there was a whole lot of jacking off going on. Matter of fact, I can tell people the very, very first time I masturbated, I was on the phone with a different woman about to cheat on my girl. I was literally about to make plans to go see another woman, and on the phone with this girl, start thinking about everything I'm gonna do when I see her. I start masturbating. As soon as I came, I hung up on her and was like, I'm good. I'll talk to you later.
I know that's a different conversation, but I consider that cheating.
She was a true in a different way. Wow.
But it's like, if we never established that, the phone call, yes. Yeah. Because the phone call, I really was about to set up something that was about to be unfaithful. But at that very moment, I was like, I realized I didn't really want to see this other young lady. Right. Like, I didn't want to take her out. I didn't want to wind her down. I was just horny. As soon as I got my nut, I didn't need her anymore. I was like, I literally said to her on the phone, I was like, look, I'll talk to you later. I hung up and rolled over and took a nap. I took a 5-hour nap.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, it was a good one. So I realized that made me realize, number one, for me in college to maintain this and not cheat, I'm gonna have to self-satisfy. But at that moment, I was like, it really was just, I need a nut. I didn't need anybody to talk to or to caress or to wind down or even listen to.
I'll give a different perspective. I noticed you guys keep saying back in the day, and then you have an open mind now, but you guys also didn't have a lot of distractions. I mean, look at back in our parents and grandparents' time. They would literally say, I'm gonna meet you at the park tomorrow at 3, and they would be there. Even during slavery times, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make this about slavery days, but there were people who were on a plantation 4 miles away, and they would make time on Sunday, the day of the Lord, to go and see those people, and they still managed to have families. But that was different because our sources were not there. Now we're in the time of social media where you can literally hop on Tinder or whatever and find someone 500 feet from you and do something with them. You don't.
Well, to me, my response to that is where there's a will, there's a way. I don't care if it's social media or not. You're distracted by what you want to be distracted by. If you really want to be with that person, like Troy, he really wanted to be with her. He really wanted to be committed to his relationship. That's his values and who he is.
Well, as a man, also let me say this before you continue.
Without cheating.
Let me say this. Also, another distraction was the fact that I was in school. So I was so encumbered about midterms and finals, and I got to graduate. I'm trying my best to pledge. I'm trying to do a lot of stuff. So, for me, a lot of things, yeah, I wanted my relationship to work, and I'm mad that she's 6 hours away by drive, a 1 hour flight. Yeah. Let me go back to what Willie Ray said. Willie Ray, yes, I got a very, very satisfying nut. Didn't spend a penny, didn't spend an ounce in gas money, and I got a damn good nap out of it. Save a lot of money doing that. But long distance relationships today, in 2021, with all this technology, and I have money to travel back and forth, if she's worth it, like if I wouldn't do a long distance relationship with a woman that I didn't see being my wife. Like you have to be a woman like, okay, I need you in my life in the future. I understand you're in a different city doing your residency, or you're in grad school, or you're doing whatever. If I see you being the mother of my children, we'll make it work. We'll be on some Love Jones shit. You can be in Chicago, I'll be in New York. We gonna make it work. If you're not somebody I see long term, trust me, I'll find you can live 10 minutes away. If I don't want to be with you, I'll find a reason. I'll find it. I'm like, babe, look, I can't be with you because of traffic. This ain't gonna work out.
Right.
Can we
I want to get to some of these comments because
yes, we need to go through these comments.
We into some of these comments, and I love it. We love y'all so much. I want to get to these comments because I definitely want to get to Scott Lucius in just a moment. But Trevor says a lot of people hear but don't listen, and this is true because they hear what they want to hear because they want what they want. They don't listen well when someone says we're just friends or I'm not ready and start doing intimate things and confuse themselves, which is what Jeff said. Just because we doing stuff don't mean that that's what we are. You got to understand whether you a hookup or whatever. You got to understand what's the context of what's going on. Even if we not having sex, but I do stuff for you out of support that you associate with a relationship, because that don't mean that other person associates what they're doing for you as meaning we're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like you can have a flat tire, or you stuck somewhere and you need somebody to come bail you out to help you get somewhere. You might associate that person coming to help you out as, oh, he's always got my back and supportive. But they can do that as a friend. That don't mean that just because you constitute that as something that somebody in a relationship would do doesn't mean that person, means the same thing.
Well, I agree with that. Kind of like what you and Jeff were saying, because I've definitely dealt with that in the mid 2000s. I've had that experience on more than one occasion, that because I'm with a young lady, just because I take you out, pay for dinner, I'll open up your doors, I'm a gentleman. Don't assume we're in a relationship. I'm a gentleman. If I'm with a young lady, I want to be chivalrous. Now, if you have never dealt with that with a man, you never had a man be a gentleman, pull out your chairs and open your doors. I'm sorry for you, but because I do that, don't mean that you need to start writing. That doesn't mean, if I pull out your chair, if I open up your car door, that doesn't mean you need to start writing your first name with my last name. Don't do that. We haven't had a conversation.
Or Troy, let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it can be too. And I'm not speaking for myself. Sometimes we just want to fuck, so we're just being nice. Right. Not me. Let me be clear.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but I think
not me. But like you go to the bar and you buy a drink.
Conversations about the difference between how men view a date sometimes versus women. Like Horace said at one episode, a date to him, because that's what he was growing up. A date to some men is dick at the end. That's it. And
yeah, I mean, I've never been with that. Even when I was younger, every single time I've taken a woman out, it really was, because I just wanted to see her. If it ended in sex, cool. I ain't mad at it. That would be a great consolation. If it didn't end in sex, okay, so be it. But I don't constitute, if I go on a date with a young lady and there's no sex, I'm not going to constitute that date as a failure. Right. Because at the end of the day, my attitude is different. I have a different philosophy. I'm like, if all you really wanted was sex, just go get a hooker, go get a prostitute. If that's just what you want, if you just want a nut and you want a nut and some pussy, go get a prostitute.
It's the oldest profession.
It's the oldest profession.
Here's the thing with that: the quality. I wouldn't do that, but I was in New York last weekend, and I saw some of them on the corner, and I couldn't tell if those were really women, and two, they just look so disgusting. I'm sorry, I don't know how people would pay for that.
Levels to it. I mean, it's whole different levels to it. So,
I wouldn't. No, keep in mind, I wouldn't do that shit. I just, being from going to an all-male school, being in a fraternity, I definitely know what it's like to be around guys who've admitted that they've gone and sought the service of a prostitute. The whole thing is, look, I'm not going to judge you because I don't know your circumstances.
Right.
I don't know what if you feel like you rather pay $100 to $300 for 10 minutes. That's you and your money. Would I do that shit? Hell no.
Yeah, that whole
that's just my standard. I ain't paying no woman for sex.
In fairness, well, one could argue though. For instance, I take someone out and we went to a movie, we went to a nice dinner, spent $60, $70. Movie was $40 total. You know what I'm saying? You spent almost $200. That arguably is paying for sex. But we discussed that before. But it's just not directly. It's direct, and of course, but what happens?
Yes and no.
Well, at the end of the day, if you don't want to date that person, though, you kind of did just pay for sex. Now, if you did all that and you want more from them in the long run, that's different.
Well, no, that I agree with. If you spent all that money and the only thing you really you wanted some pussy, then you just tricked. You just paid for sex.
Correct.
If I wanted something more, like I wanted, her company, her conversation, and hopefully see her again, then I don't see that as tricking. I'm like, you just paid for a woman.
Context. It's the context with which you're going out. I want to get to this comment by Scott because I think that is interesting. He says it sounds like the starting point you're agreeing to is somewhat polyamorous, whether long distance or local, but then only becomes committed or monogamous once you speak it or declare it. Is that right? Not necessarily. You can enter a long distance relationship with somebody and it means you're dating. You can date somebody long distance and be in that phase where you're learning whether or not you want to commit. That means I'm cutting off all other options.
That's exclusive. That's called being exclusive.
That's not polyamorous. That's not poly. That's not a
poly. That's exclusive.
Because dating is not poly. You're literally dating. That's not poly.
No.
Somebody help me understand what.
Okay. To me, that's called being exclusive. What that means is you're not official.
Right. You're not. Dating is. I'm dating people to decide to see. I want to get to know different people to decide who I want to show off.
That's getting to know someone. You're getting to know someone at that point. Once you are exclusive, everybody else, the apps, the attentiveness.
I get that point. I'm talking about dating until you up.
I mean, we don't. When I meet you, I see where Dr. H is coming from.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No, go ahead. No.
If I meet you and there's interest, it doesn't mean from day one we're exclusive. We got to build to that.
Oh no, we got to agree we're exclusive, and that's when
we got to agree we're exclusive.
Right.
That's when we delete the apps. We cut off our exes, and that's something where I stand hard on that. No exes. Or anyone who I see as a distraction or does not need to be around. And that's when we're exclusive, and then from there we will discuss being in a committed relationship.
But when it comes to dating is just that. That's not poly. We're dating because I want to see who I want to get to that point where I'm
right. You want to examine your options. You want to see, okay, out of all the people,
relationship, that was it.
Dating. I mean, for me in the past when I was single, dating just meant like, okay, I got these 3-4 women who are interested in me. We've gone out. I got somewhat good chemistry. Who's the best for me? That's dating. When I'm dating, I don't have to be exclusive to anybody. Once I look at you and say, look, I'm your man, you my girl, now we exclusive. We've had the conversation. I'm with it. If you with it, if she's with it, then that's when you start unfriending girls. That's when you start deleting numbers. That's when you're like, okay, we gonna see each other on a consistent basis. But if we haven't come to that agreement, then don't question where I was Saturday night. I'm not gonna question where you were. Right. It's none of my business. It's none of your business.
Exactly.
And so we need, for whatever reason, people don't. We need to stop pretending that conversations and communication doesn't need to happen. Right. People feel like I don't need to communicate. I don't need to converse.
Yeah.
We're just on the same page telepathically. What I believe,
No.
they believe in,
Ain't
and that's
nobody
where you
reading
fucked
minds.
up. Right, because you sitting up there being committed to someone, and they out there playing the field, and they haven't technically done anything wrong because you haven't even mustered up the balls or the the cojones to talk to them and have a conversation. Talk to them. Say, look, if you with me, if you gonna share my company and get up in this, you can't be with anybody else. You can't be with
Right.
exes. You need to unfriend some of these thirst traps. You need to do this and the third.
Man,
If you can't find the courage to do that, then you need
and
let them
boy,
let
and
them do them. You do
don't
you.
let them hit you. Don't let them hit you with the gaslighting of, oh, well, in order to do that, you need to do this too, or you have a problem
Well,
with
that
this.
tells you who they are at the
Yep.
beginning, and you can just
And
move on with somebody
but
else.
before we even get to that point, I already let it be known where I stand with certain things, so people already
Right.
know. But I let it be known up front. These are the things I do like. These are the things I can compromise with. These are things I will not under any
Right.
circumstance. And like I said, the X thing is a deal breaker.
Right.
It is a big deal. People have tried to gaslight me with that. And one thing about long distance, and I hate to sound like this, one thing about the long distance, you don't know, and I don't need to know everything about your past or your life, but you don't know who they're dealing with every day. You don't know, and it could sound like trust issues, whatever, but
Yeah.
you're not here. So I know anything that goes on in Texas, Philadelphia, DC, Atlanta, and New York, I usually know in the social scene anyway. That's just me, but I network a lot. But say
Right.
you live in Florida or something, I don't know. I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just me. So
Right.
all that needs to be discussed up front.
I agree, and it's what Corby says here. Why not just be open about it from the jump? Look, I like you, and I wanna ooh woo your woohoo you down.
You want to what?
It's awkward taking
Ooh, yo,
on the
woo.
opposite sex. This is why I don't date unless I'm able to cover my tab or know the individual is okay with actually spending genuine quality time together. And at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Let's do what Jalen says: communicate, set boundaries, and let things be known. I believe Trevor says, I believe no matter what your definition on said subjects, it's like the gentleman said, talk to them. Titus says, just be upfront so you can chill with the right person. Boom. That's what
No,
it boils
I
down
agree.
to, be upfront. But I think
Look,
that women are so used
I
to being subtle and playing games
no, we
that
ain't playing no games. Don't
it's
play no
like
games.
just be a grown up and have a conversation. Say what you mean what you say, so you're not wasting each other's time.
Look, if I'm dealing with you, any relationship where my mind, my heart, and my dick are involved all in once, don't play games with me.
Right.
Um, my older sister used to tell me all the time, when someone wants to be with you, they'll move heaven and earth to make it happen.
Yes, they
When
will.
someone doesn't want to be with you, they can find a million one excuses. And the older I've gotten, I've realized that's true because there definitely been women in my past that when I didn't want to be with them, I can reach and find an excuse. I can find something to say, look, this ain't gonna work. But if you're someone I really want to be with, I will deal with the slings, the arrows, the rocks, the bullets. I'm like, look, I want to be with you. I'll get on the train. I'll get on a plane. I'll run on the tracks myself. I'll ski on water. Do what I got to do because you're the woman I want to be with. I want to
Yeah.
be with you. I want us to start a family. I want us to have kids. You in California, I'm in Timbuktu. I'll make it happen.
Right.
But again, if you're a woman I don't want to be with, you can live 5 minutes away. I'll find a reason. I'll
Right.
find a reason like, look, this ain't gonna work. This traffic at 6 o'clock, man, I can't do it. You need to
Listen,
find
this is
someone close.
outside my 10 and 2 zone. I don't go nowhere
Right,
between
I
10
can't
and
do it.
2.
I can't do it.
No,
My
I
whole
agree.
my whole
I
tone,
totally
my
agree.
tone, my verbiage, everything changes. Like, man, I can't. That's when my Memphis accent come out. I'm like, man, I can't do it.
Hey,
Shoot.
man.
Man, you got me fucked up, man. Can't do it, man.
He said he brought out the main. You know it's real when he bring out the main.
I'm just saying. So
I
I
agree. I
do.
think that it's
I am of the
important.
opinion like if someone wants to be with you, um, if the chemistry, if everything, if the connection is right, then they want no excuses. That's one of the things that without going into detail with for term like no excuses. We're not gonna make excuses.
Right.
But it is what it is. Everybody's different.
It is. I agree. I think that it just boils down to, and everybody is pretty much agreeing. Just be upfront. Somebody said Tony Braxton, be a man about. I love it, but I agree. It truly does boil down to communication. Don't assume nothing when you're dating and you're meeting somebody. I don't care if it's on Algo's internet. I don't care if it's on some dating app, face
I
to
can't.
face. You can meet somebody on your
Can't.
job, in the grocery
I
store,
can't.
whatever.
You
Don't
said algorithms for that.
assume anything. Have a conversation up front. If you see somebody and you lusting after them, you just want to hit it. Just be honest and say that. Don't be afraid. I mean, the response gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, it is. Dr. H, I mean, you and I are around the same age. I'm like, when I think about it, this conversation is really making me ask ourselves, in the late 90s, how the fuck did we survive on Black Planet alone?
Because y'all
Black
was some
Planet was,
thoughts. Because y'all was some thoughts, and I heard. I'm not trying to be funny, but on them HBCUs, I heard.
Black Planet was a lifeline.
We shall not discuss. Black Planet is like going to Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happened on Black Planet?
Right. All my stories, all my Black Planet stories, I'm glad I don't remember most of them. I'm glad I'm like, shit, I'm glad I just forgot about that night where I was just dumb and whatever. But we talking about 99, 2000, 2001. I'm like, shit, I'm kind of, is Black Planet even still around?
It's still around, but it ain't. Yeah, leave it alone.
They need to. Someone needs to go ahead and eulogize Black Planet. It served its purpose, but we can't do Black Planet.
Still around, right?
It's still around, but it's not what it used to be.
No, it definitely ain't what it used to be. Black Planet was a life. When you were in college, Black Planet was your lifeline.
And that's how you knew where the set was gonna be. Where the next party gonna be. That's where it's a house party, whether it's a private club, whatever. That's how you knew what was jumping off in what city and all. Like, you knew all of that. Yeah, Black Planet. Yeah, Black Planet. It was
Black.
It was a cornucopia of blackness. It was freaky.
Okay, so there are people asking what Black Planet is. So can y'all, to my generation, which is a large marginalized age gap between the other two on here. I'm just playing.
No, I don't. Sandra, I'm gonna answer your question. No, we both. I'm answering for me and Troy. No, we both don't want it to be what it used to be.
Black Planet is like MySpace, but for niggas.
It was literally black folks on.
Let me put it to you like this.
Everybody. It was celebrities, and it was some of everybody on.
It was some of everybody.
Connecting, and it was just like, yo, we having a set in this city. It's going down. All white party, mansion party, whatever the case may be.
It was on Black Planet.
Tampa, it's gonna be in Atlanta next time, New Orleans, wherever. And it was a cornucopia of blackness. It was Freaknik on.
It was digital Freaknik. That's all it was. It was
Freaknik on the internet.
On social media. Black Planet was Lemon Pepper Wings and Mad Dog 2020 all rolled up in a social media site for black folks. That's all it was. It was before, it was the grandfather of Tinder. Before Tinder or before you got on Black Planet, you go to a woman's page. A woman's page had thirst traps, had sexy pics, had pictures of her kids, and then underneath the pictures of the kids have a Bible verse. Yep. Okay,
and all kinds of music.
That was Black Planet,
bruh.
That's all Black Planet was. Black Planet was nothing but. I would tell anybody, even back then, if I could tell 20-year-old anybody else from the 90s, I was like, look, if you're on Black Planet, use a condom. Just use a condom, bro. Come on, because you don't know what's on Black Planet. There's some nasty folks out there. Nasty people.
I mean, that's how it is now.
When you said they was thotting, that was
that was when your parents were thotting on Black Planet.
I'm trying to. It's some people right now that are products of, like we said, you products of Atlanta Freaknik might be a product of Black Planet.
Dr. H, let me tell you, some of these kids, everybody out there, if you were born between 1998 and 2002, you may be a Black Planet baby. You just may be a Black Planet baby. I'm telling you, there's a lot of babies, a lot of unplanned pregnancies that came from Black Planet.
It's real. Like, Black Planet was, it redefined dating for Black folks in the late 90s, early 2000s. It really did. In that It was just, listen, if you want to just date and have fun and get to know people and difference it, like Luda said, hoes in different area codes. If that's what you desired, seriously, Black Planet offered it.
Black Planet.
The way social media is now, like, you know, how you can roll up in a celeb's DM now and it's like filtered into spam. Now I want none of that. They was answering you. It's going straight to the, like, it ain't nobody managing that.
And for all, and let me just say this, and I'm gonna get off my Black Planet podium in a second. Let me just say this one thing. This will be my last thing for all the millennials and Generation Z. Black Planet back then, there was no GPS.
Right.
There wasn't even MapQuest. You meet somebody on Black Planet. You have to ask them, okay, what are the directions to your house? Okay, go down this street, turn left, turn right. You had to put directions on a sticky notes.
Yeah.
That's how you got to people's house. There was no GPS.
This is before MapQuest. This is before MapQuest.
This was before MapQuest. There was no MapQuest. Trust me, I know what it's like.
We had to ask them how to get there.
How do I get to your house?
Mansion parties, white party, this, that, the third. Like, if you didn't respond, you didn't get the address, you didn't get the deets.
Well, fuck that. I know what it's like to be driving in a Honda Civic DX, trying to drive in the street and read a piece of notebook paper in the dark, trying to figure out, okay, where do I turn right? Where do I turn left? What's this address? Yeah, that was me. That was all me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was something. So
we need to eulogize. Let's eulogize Black Planet, okay?
Black
we need to put that shit to bed.
Like Black Planet though also kicked off some long distance relationships for some people, because some people actually turned that stuff into a relationship. Like,
yeah.
I went to a wedding.
I went to a wedding.
It wasn't just a jump off. It was definitely.
I went to a wedding.
It was more than hookups. It was definitely people turned it into something.
Yeah, I went to a wedding last year. There was a black. They laughed about it at the toast. They matter of fact, when she married her husband, she even said, he said that he thought his wife was he didn't call it catfish because that was a term back then. Right. But she had model pictures. He thought that he was getting played. And then when he went and saw her, he said she was beautiful. And I said, wow. But people didn't have time to catfish and stuff back then. I guess that.
No, it's like what Nick is saying here. Social media is very different now than back then. Social media now is all about clout. Back then it was for networking to meet people. That's genuinely, and that's what we did. I didn't care if it was on MySpace, because I had MySpace and Black Planet. It was a different vibe on both. But it truly was about connecting and meeting people. And it was just literally, and that's how you got a lot of Black travel groups, like, yo, we going to a wine tasting, get to know people, and you really built networks and connections and relationships and strengthened bonds. I mean, Greeks connected with Greeks they never would ever meet, whatever the case may be, through those networks. It was different. And so building that, meeting people and building connections and networks. And that's how a lot of long distance relationships started. And it's the work you put into it. Either the two people, like if you want to make it work, you can make it work. But again, like we said earlier, it depends on you as a person. Where are you in your life? And what do you need? What do you need from that person? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you touchy feely like me and Jeff, it ain't gonna work. But at the same time, you might be touchy feely like me and Trey and still need your personal space. It just really depends on how much of that you need at different times and points in your life. So it varies. It's just
big. Really quickly, big shout out to Lisa London. She met her husband on Black Planet. Big kudos. I salute you. I do feel like there are some success stories from Black Planet.
That's who I was talking about.
Okay.
I didn't want to put her business out, but
I agree with Troy though. It wasn't all just that.
It wasn't all bad.
It was a lot of stuff happened because it was like Nick said. Social media back then was about networking and truly meeting people. So the whole concept, it wasn't about trying to go viral and all this other stuff. It was
there were no
people.
There were no soldier boys on Black Planet going viral. None of that. No. Black Planet was it wasn't as sophisticated as what you have.
No, it was raw. It was
It was
raw, but
very,
you,
it
There
was
was
just
a
a
lot of
basic.
raw going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
it just
Black
was.
Planet back then was
I know what
very, very basic. It was
Right.
basic. You know, you have your page. You know, back then, you know, when I'm younger and I'm trying to do what I do, I have my basic page with the romantic music and
my
the game, everything. I was
my
like,
first
yeah.
social media was MySpace. So I'm aging myself, but that was the thing. So
But
that's
no,
actually
I had both, so it was a different vibe. Both was that it was just definitely a different vibe between the two pages. But I think that when you had it, you look at it from a perspective of, like, I know people who got great job offers and relocated because the person that they were talking to, because we called it talking, we talking, that they were talking to back then, they networked, they connected, they built a relationship with that person, and they ended up relocating to the area because to be with that person, but also they got a great job prospect out of it. So, whether the relationship worked or not, it was truly, again, that what Nick was saying, that networking part. No, you did not start your account when you was like 12. God bless you.
um
You know,
I did too when I
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
was 14, and I got in so much trouble for it because I was
No,
Yeah.
on there talking bad. I was on there talking bad about the teachers and stuff, and got caught up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But
no,
yeah.
let me say this. I got out my breaking point. I had a breaking point with Black Planet, and that's when I knew I had to go to MySpace. If you go to my Black Planet page now, there's a reason why I have what I have on my page. Dr. H, I don't know if you remember that on Black Planet when it got that function where you can click a button and see everybody that visited your page.
Mm-hmm.
When
I
I
used
when
to look at
I
that all the time.
I didn't realize that till like my last year on Black Planet. When I started seeing all the people that were visiting my page, I started looking at like, why are all these transsexuals, all these transsexual prostitutes on my page? If you go to my Black Planet page right now, I swear on everything that's near to me, it says, I'm out. Y'all niggas need Jesus. I'm gone.
It's
That was
not
the
the they
last
done
thing I
changed
wrote
the
on
way
my page.
layout.
I'm
It's
like,
not
I'm
the same as
done.
what it used to be. It's just complete trash now, which is
It's
good.
complete. Black Planet towards the end became just prostitutes and Johns. That's all it
Yeah.
was.
It was really crazy because what it was, like, I think so many other professional people had already migrated over to MySpace and coming over to Facebook and doing something different, and finding other ways to connect, because it was wild. It got out of
It got
hand.
way
It
too
got out of
nasty.
hand.
It got way too nasty even for me. I'm like, you know what? Y'all niggas really do need Jesus. Y'all need to go to church because I ain't for this shit. So I left Black Planet and hopped on MySpace. That was 2006 when I got on MySpace. Didn't like MySpace because I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
MySpace was very definitely young, very a lot of
Very
young.
young, but yeah. I had my MySpace days too. It wasn't as bad as Black Planet, but MySpace served a purpose too.
Yeah.
But Black Planet, I'm like, yeah, y'all niggas need God in your life. You need
Yeah.
something going on. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But it was, again, I think that between them, whether it's Black Planet, MySpace, whether it's, current social media,
college career,
the way we leveraged
POF.
it led to a lot of long distance relationships. And it don't mean that it's bad. It can work. It can work for some people. Somebody saying they met their husband on Plenty of Fish. Like, okay.
right?
Oh,
Like, there's
yeah,
ways, like social media and online dating,
that's what that
a
is.
lot of these platforms work for some people. It just, again, you have to know yourself, be honest with yourself, and like we said earlier, communicate.
Right.
Like,
Really quickly, Brian Harper Lewis. I asked myself the exact same question. Like, why are you on my page every single day? Why are you on
Man,
my page? I'm like,
listen,
no, don't do
Brian,
that.
Brian, you already know. I deal with that all the time. Sometimes people keep me updated about my life more than I know. I'll
Like,
post a story and someone will walk by for 2 seconds and they will tell me what the person was wearing. I'll be like, I didn't even know someone was behind me.
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, why
I
are you
mean,
so what I'm doing? Get a life.
Right.
again,
Yeah.
if the
Married,
relationship,
worrying
if
about
you're
me.
with someone, I guess I look at it like think about your long and short term goals with anybody
Mm-hmm.
you meet. Because let's be honest, regardless, you know, for all the men out there, for all the women out there, you meet some people. There's some people you really only want in your life for 5 minutes. Okay,
Wow.
you know, that's one thing. If I meet you and you are someone that I want to see, I want to have a future with, I can entertain the idea of a long distance relationship as long as we have these other safeguards in place. We have, okay, we're going to communicate by phone, we're going to communicate by Skype, we're going to communicate by FaceTime, we're going to make plans to see each other maybe once a month or every other month. We'll take turns
Excuse me.
flying, whatever. But we have to have a sustainable plan in place, and we have to feel like the other person is worth it. If
Right.
you honestly don't see a future with that person, then cut them loose. Because along this relationship, it does involve work. It involves a lot of trust. Because at the end of the day, this person they're in a different city, they're in a different state. You don't know what they're doing. They don't know what you're doing.
Right.
It involves a lot of trust. And if you are not a trustworthy person, you may not be made for a long distance relationship.
Right. If you have trust issues, I personally would not recommend venturing
Yeah,
into a long distance
that's
relationship
me.
because you're going to question
Oh.
every
You're
little
gonna question
thing.
everything.
And
You
it's
call
gonna
them
be
one
like,
time and they don't pick
why are
up.
you
It's like, where were
You know what I
you?
mean? Like, why are you tripping over
Well,
the littlest thing? Like, okay, you didn't answer my call. I just called 5 seconds ago. I was in the bathroom washing my hands. Like, don't do that to yourself, honestly. Some people, and that's just again to thine own self be true. Be true to yourself, because
That
at
is
the end of the day, the first sign of insecurity and stress that you can't handle long distance relationship, I'm out. Get out of my face. First of all, I ain't trying to do that. But again, but like Troy said earlier, if we can afford to fly back and forth and see each other regularly, then that can work. But I'm not gonna deal with
but let me ask
insecurity
you
either.
this.
Like,
Now, do
I'm
you
not
think?
dealing with insecurity, and we need to do a whole show about dating
But
insecure people.
let me ask you this though.
Go ahead.
With the long distance and the flying back and forth, do you think it comes to a point where you two eventually need to be in the same city?
Right.
there has to be a plan. I mean, for
Yeah.
me,
Okay.
if I meet you, if we're dating, there needs to be a plan. Like, okay, after you graduate from school or middle school, whatever, then either I'm going to move up there or you're going to move down here. But there has to be a plan in place. There has to be something like, okay, in 1 year, we're going to be living together. One
Right.
of us, and it has to be, you know, one of us don't have to move.
Right.
If you're just out there dating and just going with the flow, then you may need to sit down with your partner and you know, draw up a blueprint and figure out, okay, in five, this is our 6 month goal, this is our year goal, this is our 2 year goal. If you don't have that, then you're already behind the 8 ball.
I find that Troy, I agree with you, because if you can't do that, you're gonna have problems having a conversation about finances and money in your relationship. You got to have a plan for every part of your relationship. And you talk about long distance relationship. Are you trying to have a permanent long distance relationship? And
Oh, hell
at
no.
that point, are you seeking companionship, or like, what is your purpose for engaging at this point in your life? So I think that you do need a plan. You need to understand where you're going with it. Because are you dating for the sake of dating? Because again, you just need to let that person know up front. Okay. Because I think, especially if you're older and you're settled and you don't need all of that. So, you know, hey, I'm just, because I know somebody who wants, you know, they're divorced, they want somebody in their life, but they genuinely they're like, I don't want to get married again, but I do want companionship. That's something completely different. You need to have a conversation. You got to find somebody who's interested in finding something like that, so that you can, you know, make that work. It'll be easy to make it work because they know up front what you're looking for. And so, hey, it is what it is. It's like, well, help yourself. You know what I mean? I think it just really does depend on the individual.
Well, you know, I would tell anybody, you know, I know a lot of people may or may not know this person, Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Yeah.
She's an actress. I know years ago we posted an article in Ringside. She and her actual husband lived on different coasts. I don't know if they've corrected that ever since, but I know that we did post an article about how this Cheryl Lee Ralph was married to a great guy, but they lived in different states. Married, they're legally married, living in different states.
Yeah.
And they talked about how they had to overcome certain obstacles to make it work. But it goes back to what I said at the top of the show when I was like, you got to know yourself, because at the end of the day, yes, there are some people who are very needy, very touchy-feely. They need to see you on a regular basis. But then on the flip side, you really do have those people that are okay with only seeing you once every few. They're literally okay. Like, look, we ain't got to be around each other. I love you. You're my, you're my boo thing. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. However, I value my alone time. I value
Yeah.
me time. So you have to be honest with yourself first, because someone, if you, regardless if you're a man or woman, if you're someone that needs that alone time quite often, you don't need to be with someone who's needy and needs to see you every single day. That's not going to work unless you
Yeah.
guys compromise.
There's a lot to unwrap. You had mentioned the insecurity thing or trust issues. Sometimes I don't think it's trust issues, but like I was saying earlier, the calling someone. I don't ever randomly call anyone. I like the same respect that people text me first, but you're not responding, and I know you ain't in class, school, whatever. You do need to. Once someone's dating me, though, you kind of get used to my communication style. But
Right.
yeah, I require a certain amount of communication per day. Like, you need to talk about a certain amount of times, you need to text a certain amount of times. I don't put a number on it, but I like consistency. So if it's long distance, that needs to be upped up times 3, except when I'm working, because I don't like to be bothered when I'm working. But
Jeff, let me ask you something. I don't know your age, and I'm not going to ask your age. Have you ever had an answer machine?
Wow. Oh, my answer machine or voice, like a normal voicemail?
Answer
No,
machine.
an answering machine with a tape.
Like voicemail. No, not voicemail. Answering. Like a land.
It's a device that you put a tape in and you record your greeting, and people call and it picks up and it clicks in and record on a tape.
Like a landline that has.
I think I get it. I never.
It's
Probably not.
seated voicemail. Trust me.
And that's Dr. H. The more we talk about this, number one, I'm feeling really old as fuck right now because I know I am. Number two, I'm like, in the 90s, there was no text messaging.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have text messaging.
We wrote letters.
We wrote letters. We had, we wrote letters. If back then, if we weren't using a phone, we wrote letters.
I did have an answer machine, but we didn't have it long. I remember because teachers would call my house to tell on me or say I acted up, and I would delete it before my parents got home and heard it.
That's it.
Yeah, those. Yes, but we had the one where it was like digital, but still, yeah, I would delete it before our parents heard it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dr. H, let me share something with you that was really bad. This one I was trying to be smooth and I was trying to be a player. Not a player, but this was before when I was trying to be a Kappa, when I thought I was grooming myself to be a Kappa. I was that fool with the answer machine that when you call, there was no words on my voicemail. It would just be Maxwell, or it would be Donnell. It would just be the music. Be no words. It wouldn't be me saying.
I was going to say, were you one of those people that would have the music play at the beginning before you say, "Hey, yo, this is so and so"? You call my line.
I was that person too, so I had music.
I would always hit 0. I'd be like 0.
That was me.
I would hit
0.
Whatever song was popular at the time, I had Maxwell, I had Jodeci, I had Donnell Jones. You called me
Donnell Jones. Oh yeah, you was pimping.
You call my house number, because I didn't get my first cell phone until 2000. But you call my landline, you just heard Maxwell. That's all you heard. And then you hear the beep. Yeah, at the beep, you know what to do. You know what to do.
I want to get to this comment because Nick makes a valid point, and I talked about this earlier in the show. What is a relationship nowadays? I feel like people say I'm in a relationship. Are you really in one, or are you online dating? Because relationships are used for a clout move. I feel if you're in a relationship, it doesn't need to be displayed. Y'all should enjoy your time with each other, just the two of you and not the world. That's how it's so many breakups happening. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna tag some people this one.
Mind your listen. But again, it's just like we said. The how online dating and social media, a lot of different things now compared to back then. I don't know who it was earlier. I think it was Nick. He was saying that social media back then is different than what it is now, and how we used it. It was about networking and connecting with people, but you didn't put your relationship on display. It was your business was your business. You didn't want people in your personal business because you mess around
Well, you
and
really
somebody
couldn't.
find out that you dating the same, like you ain't want that. So
And see, back then, I'm
concept of
sure,
I got
yeah.
to display my love and I want people to be happy for my love and all of this.
Oh,
I
that
don't
that wasn't black.
understand
That wasn't Black
because
thing.
folks don't need to be in your business. And whether it's long distance or not, why do people need to know what's happening? And so I think that that's another reason why relationships don't work as well, because we feel like we got to
Well,
publicize everything,
Let's-
and that don't make no sense.
But Dr. H, let's be honest. And again, in the 90s with Black Planet, there was no take a picture with a cell phone that goes directly to your Facebook or your Instagram. People that had pictures on Black Planet, you had to scan them Polaroids.
Yes, you had to scan it.
And that's a lot of work.
Listen,
That was
if
a
you
lot of
had
work
to
to
scan,
upload
you
a
had to
pic.
pick the right pictures, and you had to crop them after you scanned it. Okay, it was work building that program.
Hey, Lisa, yo, I have a lot of memories from Black Planet. A lot of them I try to work out in therapy and try to bury. But no, back then there was, I promise you, back then Black Planet was, you go to a girl's page, thirst trap, picture of her baby, and a Bible verse. That was a common woman's page.
Y'all are going back. Y'all know some nostalgia. People talking
okay,
about
so
music
the
on
comment. Well, I want to address the comment about showing who you're dating and stuff.
I agree. Go ahead,
I'm a firm believer of keeping my stuff. Like once in a while, I'll post. Well, I never ever confirm it. I might sometimes tease and post who it is, or make a story here and there, and I leave it up to people's interpretation. But as far as posting, oh, we're on vacation, we're me and Bay this, or we go to the harbor in Baltimore and eat ice cream together, licking it.
We didn't do that.
You know, see you later. I was poking fun at my best friend. That happened, but no, stuff like that. I don't mind it. That's cute for you. Or if you're married to them, if you're married, Brian, because I wasn't throwing shade, Brian, you know, that's different. But you're dating someone. What happens is once you display that person, both your inboxes are going to be lit. There's been times that I have dealt with people and I kept telling them, they're like, oh, Jeff, you have a big platform. Everyone wants you. You need to show who I am so people stop messaging you. And I said, okay. So I finally let them post me. The second they posted me, 2 hours later, someone keyed their car and Kate wrote in there, Jeff is mine. Back off. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. And it always happens. And so for some people who have a platform that's not or is known, it's best to keep that stuff private. It's not that I'm hiding you. So it depends, I guess, on your comfortability.
I got questions about what you're doing to these people that they acting like that, but that's enough conversation. But I agree with you. I think if you keep your business to yourself, you ain't got to worry about that. And again, and the other thing is too, you know, egg on your face. Oh, you know, me and Bay, we're in love and all this other kind of stuff, long distance work, whatever. At the end of the day, who cares? Because when it falls flat, now you embarrassed. Or some people aren't embarrassed. They just be like, whatever, and they just going on about their business, and it's a new boo of the week. So it's like, how can we take you seriously? So if I ever consider dating someone, whether it's long distance or whatever, if every time I turn around it's a new boo on your page, I got questions.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge Candy Skiggy May. I agree with you 1,000%. People need to understand, I'm a private person. Doesn't mean I'm secretive.
Correct.
There is definitely a difference.
Exactly.
There's certain things,
Exactly. Thank you.
There are definitely certain things, even today in 2021, there are definitely certain things I just don't put on social media. Now, if you ask me about it, I'll tell you straight up. But as far as I'm not one of those people that believe if you don't see it on social media, it doesn't happen. There are a lot of people that feel like, well, you don't go anywhere because you don't post this, that, and third on your page. Like, no, I do a lot of things. I just don't post.
I just live my life.
Yeah, I just live life. I know how to live life without trying, living for likes and hearts. I just don't post pictures. I just don't care. Right. And so the same thing with my life. Just because you don't see me post pictures of my dates and my outings, it doesn't mean I'm single. It doesn't mean I'm lonely or alone. It just means that I don't want you to have a front row seat to my personal life. That's all
Yeah.
it means.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that again, whether it's long distance or a long distance relationship, or you're in the same city or whatever, it doesn't matter. I want to ask you guys, what do you constitute as a long distance relationship? Like, what is it, like 20 miles, 30 miles, 50, 400? What do you consider long distance? What's
If I
what's
have
your
to,
absolute, like, the shortest versus the longest distance you'll be going?
I mean, theoretically, I've always viewed long distance as you're in a different state.
Okay.
Um, but it could also be like, look, if I have to contemplate whether or not I have enough gas to get to your house, then it may be long distance.
Okay.
Um, Again, it really it boils down to how much I like you. Because if I like you, I will put in the effort. If I don't like you, I will find an excuse. I'll reach in my back pocket and pull out an excuse if I don't like you. So, but as far everyone has their definition of what a long distance relationship is, I've always just felt like, okay, if you're in another state or in a city far, far away, then we're in a long distance relationship. But
Brian
long,
Harper said 30 minutes. Anything longer than that,
I was gonna
no.
bring that up. Let's talk about what is considered long distance. Brian, you said 30 minutes, but you drive. Now, if you like I live in DC, Baltimore, I could do Baltimore, but you come into my
Well, the
house
whole
if we
DMV
hang out.
area is just kind of,
Yeah,
it's
you come
the
into my house,
traffic that
so
makes it worse, but it's really you
yeah.
nowhere from anywhere.
But if you are in Baltimore, I don't mind that. But like I said, you come into my house, I'm not parking my car out there. Yeah, I ain't coming out with my car on 4 bricks. But
is it that bad in Baltimore? Damn.
mm,
I haven't been
I
in Baltimore. The last time I was in Baltimore was 1991, so I don't
all I'm
remember.
gonna say is when you're there, don't bring any valuables on you. Don't look up. Don't turn around. Matter of fact, just don't go. But
Travis said, if you live in another state, you single.
there you go. No, but like Richmond, I've tried with Richmond before because I was dealing
Right.
with somebody and then I graduated and I didn't want to let it go, but it was just
Right.
it was hard. And then it didn't help that they didn't drive. I'm not about to send a bus for you,
Right.
So uh, it was
I think
just
it's
too
different. It
complicated.
varies.
And
It
plus, I
depends.
upgraded because
Over
they were
2 hour
still in
drive is
school.
long distance for me, says Willie.
But
Yeah.
Willie, in fairness, Willie, you live in Bumblefuck, Georgia. What is it, Douglasville? That's far
Oh
from
hell
everything,
no.
huh? So
I live. You know what? Let me say this. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Douglasville is like maybe a 30-minute drive. If you live
It's
in
west.
Douglasville,
It's on its way. You're on your way
it's
out.
20 West. I'm a question like, are you fine enough for me to make that drive? It really gets me like, do I want you that bad to drive to Douglasville, Georgia?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, then I'm like, I'm okay. We can be friends on Facebook.
uh,
Um, you can send me a message on IG or something like that, but I'm not driving to Doug. I know how far Douglasville is, and I'm good. I
Yeah.
pass by Douglasville when I'm driving to Memphis to go see my parents,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
It's a ways. Candy said, if a flight gets me there faster than a drive, that's long distance. Yeah, because I don't anybody doing all of the driving no more. Like what I used to do, no, ain't nobody doing that no more. So I think that, I mean, everybody has their own definition of long distance. You have to know for yourself. And I think that whether you meet somebody face to face or not, like I was in DC a couple years back, and my sister and I took my nephew on a tour, and one of the guys who worked for Park Services, approached me. He was very respectful, nice young man, gentleman, and he asked me out on a date, and the only reason, and I turned him down respectfully because I
you
don't
need
live
to
there,
turn these men
and
down.
I
You
was
need to
not about.
stop.
I didn't have an issue with that
You
because
could
my
be
sister was
you
like,
could
"I'm
you
gonna
be
do a
missing
background
a
check, and I'm gonna look
blessing.
him up," and no. But it was the fact that I was like, I live in Florida. He said, I don't have a problem with that. I said, but I do. I was like, I'm not even gonna waste your time because I just don't do good with long distance relationships. I was like, I am completely flattered and I thank you, but it's just he said, I appreciate it. He said, thanks for not wasting my time. I said, absolutely. It's just like, I'm not gonna waste your time because I don't come back up there enough. You know what I'm saying, to make it work, and I'm not relocating back to that area. So that's a hard no for me. Like,
Mm.
period. That's a hard no for me. So um I didn't want to waste his time. Like, if I know I'm not gonna do that, I'm not wasting your time. For a free meal, I can buy my own food.
Yeah, but hold on. And I know you can afford it. Like, we know you can afford it. However, because you be having your hair or something good every week, so we know. But there's a difference between affording a meal at Boston Market and being taken to Ruth Chris, or having a meal in where you're at in Palm Springs, or getting flew out to Seattle to that restaurant that's spinning around where it's $200 per person. So
I've been there.
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I forgot the name of that place. That food is good.
It's at the top of the Space Needle, but
yeah.
There's a couple restaurants that are like that, and
we have one. We got two here in Atlanta. We have two here. That we have two restaurants that do panoramic. No, we had two. We have one now because one of the tallest one, someone died.
We'll be there at the end of the month, Troy. I'm gonna hit you up. I want to go there. Not with, you know what I mean. Just send me there.
I can tell you how to get. Yeah. No, I mean at the end of the day, yeah, you have to decide for yourself. Everybody's criteria for what they can and can't deal with is going to be different. It's going to be based on your own past experiences, where you are in life, your age, your money. It really just depends, because I do agree that if I really, really see a future with someone, I will move heaven and earth to make it happen. But if not, then we just have to settle for being friends, being acquaintances, Facebook friends. Hey, you need a job reference or whatever. Okay, that's about it. But everybody's going to have their own comfort level, and everybody's comfort level is different. That's okay. You don't have to. I would tell anybody, guy or girl, you don't have to justify your comfort level. When you're out here dating, it's your comfort level.
Right. Nick has a good question here, gentlemen. When someone says they're too busy for a relationship, doesn't mean they're not interested, or are they really that busy that they don't have time?
I can answer
I'm
this.
going to answer this.
You answer it. I'm definitely going to answer it.
I was busy, and I chose to be honest and say, listen, I'm pursuing my doctorate degree. I don't have a lot of free time. I don't have free time to watch TV or do much of nothing. If that's what you can handle, okay. But I was honest enough to say I genuinely didn't have time, because getting a doctorate degree, it's like a full-time job. People say it's like a part-time job. No, baby.
It's a full-time job on top of your full-time job.
Please understand, 30 hours. You're spending about 30 to 40 hours a week just on reading to do the work.
Writing the paper.
For me, at that time in my life, I genuinely was busy. It wasn't that if I'm not interested, I'm very direct, and I'm going to tell you I'm just not interested. But for me, I genuinely was busy, at that time, and I didn't have time to dedicate to a relationship, and I didn't feel like it was fair to the other person to engage when I don't have time to give that same energy back. But at the same time, if you're patient and you want to be there, I'm okay. But I'm just putting my cards on the table.
Everyone interprets "I'm busy" differently. I will admit I've used not all the time, because there have been times I've been like really busy, like, okay, I'm actually busy. Again, I don't want to keep drawing parallels between, real life and pledging, fraternity, but it did teach me, like, look, I definitely know what it's like. When I really like a girl, I will make time. I will make time at 11:59 p.m. to come see you, or at 6:59 in the morning. I will figure out, I will get 2 hours of sleep. I will find and carve out time if that's the operative word. If I really want to see you, if I don't want to see you, it may not happen. But if I really like you, I will figure out either late at night or early in the morning. I will contour my life to come and see you. It may mean that I may be sleepy at work. It may mean that I may need to drink some more caffeine to stay awake. But again, it depends on if she is worth it. If she's worth it, then I will do what I got to do. If she's not worth it, then I will find an excuse.
Okay.
Really, no need to apologize, honey. A question is a question, but no, everybody has a different perspective.
I actually
find that people use that as a.
So I was going to get to that. The old me, I did do that to be nice, because people do not take rejection well, especially with me and some of the people I affiliate with, wherever, who don't understand the circumstances, and they don't like it. and I've gotten very bad backlash. Or after we've done something sexually, and then I say I don't want to date, right. So I've learned not to do that anymore. But I have had to learn to just kindly say that. But I've gotten it too. I will truly be busy, and I've had someone one time. This actually happened recently. They kept trying to talk to me and stuff during the day, asking over and over, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" 3-4 times a day, and I said, "Listen, I am working." They like. My answer is going to be the same until 7 p.m. They had the nerve to literally say, "Well, you're working from home." What did that do with anything?
What did that do with anything?
What does that do with anything? But that tells you the mindset is if they were working from home, it's one or two things that they don't understand what a real job is. This person works at Enterprise cleaning cars, so I understand. Or, and I'm sorry if I.
No, they bored because they.
I worked for Enterprise in 2003. Yeah, you out there in the cold.
I worked for 3 weeks before I started working at Strayer, and I hated that place. Don't get me started.
I hated working.
They make you wear a suit while you're in hot weather while you're cleaning cars. Nah,
right. I hated that. I worked for Enterprise. I worked for Enterprise and Victoria's Secret at the same time. I'm like, no, fuck Enterprise. I ain't doing this shit.
Oh,
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, what pissed me off, but I'm just like, when I say I'm busy, respect it. But the reality is, I don't owe you no explanation. If I don't get back to you today, that's just because I did not. So, but I have used it as an excuse before. Now I just blatantly say, I just want to be cool with you. We can hang out when I'm available.
Right.
Take it correctly. So, yeah. So you be upfront with people, folks. Even if y'all are about to have sex, before you do, let them know what you want to look for, what you're looking for. Do not fuck them, then say, by the way, I just want to be friends, because they will see it as you using them. People are sensitive. People get attacked. That's all.
Nick has a question. It's interesting. He says, do y'all believe in the 50-50 rule in relationships, or do you believe in I give you 100 and I expect you to give 100 as well? And Candy's response is, I don't expect me out of anybody. I'm all in till I'm not. So that's all I got.
I agree with Candy.
That's it. I'm me. And if you might not interpret my all in as 100, but that might be my 100. So I don't go on this 50-50, 80-20, all of that stuff. I don't go into that. I go, this is who I am, and this is what a TI is. Like, that's the whole point of dating, to get to know somebody. I think people are too quick to commit to somebody because they want to be with somebody, and they don't give themselves time to really get to know what that person is like and what their commitment level is, because my definition of commitment and all in may not be what the other person is expecting. So it might not meet your expectations of what you want or you need in a relationship. You date at your level, and I might not be at your level, and I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to figure that out for you. But all of this, first of all, all of this calling and texting too much, first, I got a job. I don't care. Listen, I've been working from home for about 10 years or longer. I don't care if I'm working from home or I'm going into somebody's office building. I'm at work. Respect my time, and I'll respect yours. That, to me, that's a sign of insecurity, or you bored and you ain't got nothing else going on. And at any rate, both of those is a hard no for me. That's a red flag, that you can't find a way to occupy your time and make yourself productive, to where you ain't texting somebody all day long, and you ain't on social media all day long. Like, you ain't got to respond like every 5 minutes. If you don't get up out of here with that, like, we real people age. Stop that.
I agree. No, I definitely agree with that. We're adults. Yeah, we like each other. Yeah, we're attracted to each other, but we got to pay bills. In order to pay bills, I need to go pick this cotton. I got to go work.
Pay cotton. Not pay cotton. You went there.
Yeah. Respect my time. Look, I got to go give 40 hours to the man in order to afford to take us to nice restaurants and do this shit, all this stuff. So, let me play adult for 8 hours a day. Then afterwards we can, do what we do. But I have to be responsible, because at the end of the day, it's not an attractive quality when you're dealing with an adult and they're irresponsible. You know, they got bills. They're supposed to be working, but they're playing hooky or they're not taking a job seriously. That's a red flag. That's like, you know what? You have just been demoted from courting to just kicking it, because I don't see this long term, because you can't take your occupation, your vocation seriously. So it's like there comes a time and place where you have to be an adult, but then once you clock out, once it's quitting time, then we can do whatever we do, and that's fine. But yeah, someone who's constantly, if they're constantly texting you all throughout the day, that is a major red flag. That's some, you know, that's a NASCAR red flag. We got a problem.
I think that, and that happens a lot of times with people in long distance relationships, and I think a lot of that has to do with a little bit of insecurity or whatever. But again, all of these things tend to be red flags. It's not going to get any better when you get in the same space. You know what I'm saying? If you move and relocate, oh, it'll get better once we together, you know, and I relocate. No, it's not. So you have to, it's like everybody else is saying, listen, I'm going to put my best foot forward and give you what I got. If that's not enough, then maybe that this is not the right relationship. You know what I'm saying? All of that, what you're doing all day, I'm working just like I was working 10 minutes ago or 3 hours ago. Text me. I'm eating lunch. I'm not finna give you my lunch when this is my time to get my mind right, so I don't go ham on this last leg of my day. Even if I'm working from home, people get on your nerves because I got meetings, I got this, I got projects, I got stuff on my plate. Ask me what you can do to help relieve the stress that I got from working on this project. But don't be adding by texting me or calling me when I'm at work. I'm at work. Period. Like, I don't understand that. And when you date somebody, especially if you're dating somebody long distance, like Candy is dating somebody long distance. She is a nurse, for those who are new. She's a nurse. She worked 12 hours.
Thank you, essential worker.
Four days a week. 1 week, 12 hours. The next week, she 3 days a week. It's just like firemen. They have them alternate schedules. Them people don't listen. If you got insecurity issues, you got trust issues. Like Troy said earlier, long distance ain't gonna work for you. Okay, respect that. If you know you date somebody that got crazy work hours and you got trust issues, don't engage in a long distance relationship, let alone a relationship with somebody that got crazy work hours.
Well, you know what? Let's stop it right there. Let me a caveat. Look, folks, I'm gonna just say this: if you have trust issues, go to a therapist, date a therapist.
Yeah.
Because if you got trust issues, even if you date someone that lives right next door, you're gonna find a reason to question certain shit. Yeah. You're gonna find something that's gonna trigger you or stimulate you crazy. So if you know for a fact you haven't healed from a different relationship, from a past relationship, go court and date a therapist. That's go good. Figure out how you can heal. Because if you are unhealed, and trust, I know from experience, if you are unhealed, you just transition, you just bring in all that luggage and baggage into your current relationship.
Or just dating a new person to fill a void. I know sometimes, like, I've heard that I have attributes about myself that others didn't, like having their stuff together or treating them like they're supposed to be treated, whatever. But then once something goes wrong, they revert. Just like with trauma, whatever age you were when or situation you were in that caused you to have that trauma, when it is triggered, that age or situation will come out again. We've seen it in movies and stuff. When a woman raises her voice and a man hits her, and they raise their voice and a man bucks at her, she will immediately snap. You know, So I get it. Troy, that's a good point.
Troy, what you said raised this in my head. Jeff, you said something that raised this point that I hear all the time. The best way to get over one person is to get under another. And that is not true. And a lot of people engage
when you get older, you realize that's not true.
If I get a long distance relationship, it's the best of both worlds. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's a fantasy in your head. And it's like, baby, it still ain't working. Because if you damaged and broken, you got to deal with your damage and broken. Because just like they say, hurt people.
Hurt people definitely. It definitely, you see that. But even, and maybe I'll take a little deeper than this. And if I go too deep, I apologize. We've been talking about long distance relationships in terms of mileage and proximity. But I've seen this in Ringside posted, people talk about side chicks, and they talk about long distance in terms of emotional, like being the side chick or the side dick and being still far away from someone to where you can't see one another, or you choose not to see one another because of these other barriers. It may not be mileage, it may not be, a different state, but whatever the case may be. But I don't know. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, know who you are. To thy own self be true. Some people can handle a long distance relationship. Some people cannot. If you cannot, state that. Just be honest and say, you know what? If you live in a different state, you cute. Your profile picture was cute. You look nice. You look like my type. However, this ain't gonna work out.
Right.
Because I need to, whoever I'm dating, I need to see them on a regular basis. I need to see them. I need to touch them. And me seeing you every other month ain't gonna work out. Let's be honest.
I agree. We're gonna close out for tonight because y'all, this is amazing.
This was a good. Whoever came up with this, or Dr. H, you thought of it.
Nobody sent this in. This was me. I was thinking.
Oh, never mind. I take my compliment back. But
I still love you. But I want to answer Nick before we close out. I don't think that when somebody says that their work that you work too much, that it's a sign of insecurity. I think that you need to date at your level. If you meet somebody and they work a lot and they were working a lot before they met you, and you chose to date this person, don't try to come and change them because you work too much. You knew this before we started dating. Now, things change because people work because they have lives and different things that they want to build for themselves. Somebody else here talked about being a business owner and having 3 businesses and different stuff. Some people, it takes a lot of money to maintain a certain lifestyle, and it's all good. So I don't think it's a sign of insecurity. I don't think it's a matter of, I do think that it might be an opportunity to reflect on how much you're working, but make that change for you as the person, not because someone else, or to make your relationship work. Because if you sacrifice, your income for a relationship, if that relationship don't work, then that's a bitterness. That opens the door to a hole of bitterness, and that's not good for anybody. So you have to know for yourself. Again, to thine own self be true. You know the life that you're building for yourself, whether it's long distance or whatever your long distance is, whether it's a 30-minute drive, or
now you tripping. Now if you have a car, you could drive 30 minutes. You tripping.
Right. Well, some people,
because to go from I live in Alexandria, Virginia, and to go into Oxon Hill, Maryland, which is 6 miles from me, it sometimes takes 45 minutes.
Look,
I've been in that Atlanta traffic before too, and I know
is bad. Look, I'm gonna say this from experience. Maybe some people are listening, maybe not. There have definitely been women I'm like, look, I wouldn't fight traffic to see you.
Right.
That's how bad you are, and that's how uninterested I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. But be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's
I'm gonna be honest.
Town, if you gonna go cross town for it, I guarantee you, if you meet somebody online who triggers you, that reminds you of the girl that you won't go cross town for, you ain't gonna go, long distance to see someone who makes you feel like it's the same kind of person. So I think that, again, long distance relationships, it takes a special kind of person. But I also think that there are a lot of different dynamics. If you can afford to travel back and forth and see each other regularly, okay. For some people that like their own space, living in 2 different cities and stuff, that works. But some people, it
works. It works for a lot of people.
Husband Jay, it didn't work, and his issue was, she was doing claws in New Orleans, so she was not home as much, and so that led to, that wasn't all, but that was part of the divorce of why he just felt that just didn't work for him. I think that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, for him, because he just wanted his wife home, but it was her career. That was something she worked for her whole life to lead a show, so it's a lot of different things, but you have to know what's going to work for you. Long distance relationships work for some people and they don't for others, and that's okay. just be upfront with people about it. Stop playing games. If you know full
People,
well long
people
distance
don't have to do
relationship
that.
ain't gonna work for you, don't even bother. Don't waste your time. Like I
That's
said,
why
when
you
I
have to be
approached
upfront.
Lee
If you,
DC, and I was just like, this not gonna work.
that's,
I don't have an issue, but it's just not gonna work
that's
because
what I'm saying.
I don't
If
have an issue with
someone's,
what you do.
yeah,
I would never look down at a man's profession.
yep,
If you're being a gentleman and respectful, no problem. But I live in Florida and I am not relocating to the DMV again. Like I'm done. I'm done. I live in Florida with all our issues. I'm
yeah,
home. I was born here. I'm
I
home.
know.
This is it. And if Air State
You
got
know,
something,
I don't
so
know,
you have to know for yourself.
Dr. H, you out in Florida, you way too close to the Everglades for me. Every time I see an article on Yahoo where someone opens up their toilet and sees a snake or an alligator,
Right.
I'm like,
Or
That's out west.
alligator.
You see, you dealing with mid Central Florida and out west. I'm on it.
Nah, y'all got
We don't have
issues,
that.
bro.
I'm
But I was
like, no, the Everglades is like the Freaknik for snakes and alligators.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm like, you know
I don't even
what?
drive Alligator Alley. I don't even be bothered with it. It's always
I'm
something
straight
else.
on that. I'm like,
I can tell you right now from the article, from what I said, I'd be like, oh, that's over there out west somewhere. I already know. So,
I'm good. Jeff, really quick. I know you mentioned that Code Red comes back tomorrow. Can you tag me on that? Can you
Sure.
tag me on the show?
Sure.
Yeah, so Code Red is back tomorrow, and Troy Ringside has a conversation.
Yeah,
Tuesday night or
Troy.
Monday
I
night?
see Troy's been doing something. Can you talk about that real
Are
quick?
you guys Monday night or Tuesday night?
We do every Titty Tuesday.
Horace is Monday night.
Horace is Monday night, so we got the Black Super Friends with Horace on Monday night. Troy is Tuesday night. We are every other Wednesday, and Code Red
Thursday.
is back this
And
week,
then I have another
night.
one. I have another one starting with my friend Will. That's going to start in 3 weeks. But I will release that information soon.
Yeah.
And then, Dr. H, we also have
our next conversation is May 26th, so y'all get into.
But that's after dark. We have after darks on Fridays, right?
Yeah, we have an after dark coming up in June, so y'all stay tuned because it's gonna be sexy.
I'm thinking about it. I'm
take
trying
some
to
time off for the summer to cool off after that.
I'm trying to think of a topic right now. The next Black Ass Conversations After Dark, I promise you, it's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be freaky. You may want to bring some protection. The
last conversation about squirting was not enough.
Oh, that was PG-13.
Bro,
everybody bring some latex gloves for the next show.
By the way, that squirting conversation, I saw my family Sunday for Mother's Day or Saturday with the Mother's Day cookout. Let's just say some of my family might not be commenting, but they do go back and rewatch it, and they just laughed. They weren't offended, but I was just like, we always have it at the bottom saying some things are a little, and they holier, they holy. I mean,
yeah, but it's about,
right.
Here's the thing.
So
it's real and it's out here. If you, at the end of the day, we want you to be informed and know what's out there. So I don't know what to tell you. It's out here. It might be taboo to you, but it's real life for a lot of people. At the end of the day, don't get shocked when you with somebody. And it's waterfalls all over the place.
Oh, yes, exactly. Willie Ray, definitely get your penicillin shot. Everybody for the next After Dark, bring your protection. If you need a face guard because the gender fluid will be flying, so protect your eyes.
Troy, Troy brings it. It'd be raw, so for sure. So
you don't want to go to work with double pink eye. So again, these are the next one. I promise. I got some things cooking in my head right now. It's like, oh yeah, we gonna get the fisting next time. So be on the lookout.
It's gonna be good, y'all. So we thank y'all so much. This was a fantastic conversation.
Yeah, good job. Pat yourself on the back.
Everything. So we'll catch y'all next time on the backhand side. Yeah, peace.